Today, we are going to get into a feeling that I'm willing to bet about 99% of you are feeling right now. Or if not right now, you definitely felt it yesterday, and you're probably dreading feeling it again tomorrow. It's that sensation of velocity, but without any actual movement. You know what I mean? It's that feeling of running at a full sprint, sweat pouring down your face, your lungs are burning, but when you finally stop to catch your breath and you look at the map, you realize you haven't actually moved an inch.
The hamster wheel.
The hamster wheel.
That's the classic modern condition, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It's the busy but unhappy paradox. You look at your calendar and it's terrifyingly full. You have meetings, you have obligations, you have a to-do list that could probably wrap around the equator. But deep down in that quiet place we all try to ignore, there's this nagging suspicion that you aren't actually being productive. You're just loud. And you're definitely not happy.
It's a crisis of agency. That's really, I think, what we're talking about today. It's that sensation that life is something that is happening to you rather than something you are actively, constructing. You wake up and the day just hits you like a rogue wave.
Yeah.
You just tumble through the surf, you're getting sand in your eyes, gasping for air, and you crash into bed at night just hoping, maybe the next wave isn't quite so violent. But you never actually learn to surf.
That is a terrifying image, but wow, it feels accurate. And that brings us to the core metaphor of the material we're digging into today. It's a visual that really stuck with me, and I want to challenge it a bit, but first let's just get it on the table. The concept is the leaf in the wind.
Right. It's the defining state of modern burnout. Think about a leaf. It's aerodynamically designed to be pushed. It has no propulsion system. It has no rudder. It has no engine. Its location is determined 100% by the velocity and the direction of the air around it.
Right.
If the wind blows left, the leaf goes left.
Yeah.
If the wind stops, the leaf just drops.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second. Being a leaf sounds kind of relaxing. You just float. You don't have to make any decisions. You just go where the wind takes you. Isn't there a certain, zen to that?
In a vacuum? Maybe. If the wind was, a gentle, benevolent force, then sure. But in our lives, what are the wind?
Okay.
The wind is other people's agendas. The wind is the boss who emailed you at 9 p.m. The wind is the marketing algorithm on your phone that's specifically designed to steal your attention. The wind is family guilt, societal pressure, the chaos of the news cycle. If you are a leaf, you have surrendered your autonomy to the most chaotic forces in your environment. You aren't floating, you're being thrashed.
Okay, when you put it like that, the zen is gone. It's completely gone. That sounds like a nightmare. You're basically saying that if we don't take control, we are essentially, non-player characters in our own video game.
Precisely. You become an NPC. The whole goal of this deep dive is to figure out how to upgrade your character. How do we stop being the leaf and start being, the wind?
Or at least the pilot.
Or at least the pilot, yeah.
The pilot, I like that. So the theme is taking control. But I have to say, the word control, it triggers me a little bit. It sounds exhausting. It sounds like I need to become this type A military style dictator of my life where I'm just shouting orders and micromanaging every single second. I am the king of my destiny. It feels so rigid.
And that's a really common misconception. We aren't talking about control in the sense of domination. You can't control the traffic that's external. You can't control the weather, and you often can't control the fact that your boiler broke or that your kid is sick. This material makes a really important distinction between king control, which is ruling the world, and internal control. This is all about being the boss of your response. It's about the internal architecture of your day.
So less about stopping the rain and more about just deciding to put on a raincoat.
Exactly. It's about making choices rather than defaulting to habits. Most of us, we live by default. We live by muscle memory. Taking control means waking up and actually engaging the prefrontal cortex, the decision-making part of the brain, before the lizard brain takes over and just starts reacting to fear and urgency.
The boss of your own day. Okay, I can get on board with that. It feels much more manageable. So we've got a bit of a roadmap for this deep dive. We're going to break this down into the specific tactical battlegrounds where this war for control is actually fought. We're going to look at the morning routine, the foundation, then the mechanics of productivity, specifically how our memory works versus how lists work. We're going to talk about the economics of time, which involves that terrifying little word, no. And finally, we'll get into physical energy and this concept of the future self.
And I really want to emphasize that we aren't just going to give you generic advice like, oh, be more organized. We're going to look at the mechanisms. Why does the brain fail us in the morning? Why is a long to-do list actually a psychological trap? We're going to get under the hood.
All right, let's pop the hood. Let's start at the very, very beginning. The sun comes up. The day begins. And according to all the research, the first battle for control happens before your feet even touch the floor. It happens with the alarm clock.
The battle of the bed. This is where the war is usually won or lost, right in those first few seconds.
And the enemy is the snooze button. Now, I have to confess something. I love the snooze button. I feel like we have a relationship, that feeling of hitting the button and thinking, 9 more minutes of warm bliss. It feels like a victory. But you're going to tell me it's a defeat, aren't you?
I am, unfortunately. And it's not just a moral defeat, it's a physiological one.
Yeah.
The material we're looking at argues that pressing snooze is effectively starting your day by saying no to your life.
Okay, that sounds dramatic. Saying no to my life, it's just 9 minutes. Why is it such a catastrophe?
Let's look at the biology of it. When you hit snooze, you do drift back into sleep. But it's not restorative sleep. You're actually entering the very beginning of a new sleep cycle. So when the alarm goes off 9 minutes later, you are interrupting that cycle in a state that scientists call sleep inertia.
Sleep inertia. That sounds heavy.
It is. It's that groggy, disoriented zombie feeling that we all know. When you wake up naturally, or at the end of a full cycle, your brain is ramping up. It's ready to go. But when you wake up from a snoozed fragment of sleep, your brain is being shocked awake while it thinks it's supposed to be shutting down. That fog, it can last for up to 4 hours.
4 hours. So you're telling me that by hitting snooze to get 9 minutes of what feels like rest, I'm essentially lobotomizing myself until lunch?
That's a pretty good way to put it.
Yeah.
Basically, yes. You're trading 9 minutes of very low-quality unconsciousness for 4 hours of high-quality cognition. It's a terrible trade when you do the math. And think about the psychological message you are sending yourself. You set an intention the night before. I will get up at 7. That's a contract you make with yourself. The very first thing you do in the morning is break that contract.
Yeah.
You are training your brain that your word means nothing, that your commitments are negotiable.
You're negotiating with your own reality and losing immediately, before you've even had coffee.
And then consider the cascade effect. This is the leaf metaphor in action. You hit snooze. Okay, now you're late. Now cortisol, the stress hormone, spikes because you're rushing. You skip breakfast, so your blood sugar's all over the place. You can't find your keys because your brain is in that sleep inertia fog. You leave the house in a state of panic. You are literally chasing the day before it has even started.
So the wind is already blowing you around. You're just tumbling down the sidewalk.
You're tumbling, exactly. The alternative is rigid, I admit, but it's incredibly effective. Wake up at the same time every day. When that alarm rings, your feet hit the floor. Period. No negotiation. You are establishing that you are the driver, not your immediate desire for comfort.
It's the hardest lift of the day, probably, but I see the logic. If you win that first fight, you have momentum. Okay, so we're up, we're standing, we're tired, but we're up. Now, usually, this is the moment, maybe 30 seconds in, where I reach for my phone. It's just instinct. I need to know if the world ended while I was asleep.
And this is the second trap. We'll call it protection mode. The rule from the material is strict on this. No phone for the first 30 minutes.
Oh, this one is painful. I feel naked without it. Why is this 30-minute window so critical? What's happening in the brain?
It comes down to reactive versus proactive brain states. Your phone is a portal to the external world. And what is on there? The news, which is usually tragedy.
Right.
Your work email, which is demands.
Mm-hmm.
And social media, which is comparison.
So anxiety, obligation, and inadequacy, the unholy trinity.
Exactly. And if you open that gate within seconds of waking up, you are inviting the entire world into your bedroom to just scream at you before you've even brushed your teeth.
Yep.
You are outsourcing your emotional regulation to an algorithm.
Outsourcing your emotional regulation.
Think about it. You read a scary headline. Now you're anxious. You see a demanding email from your boss. Now you're defensive. You haven't decided how you feel today. The phone decided for you.
So you're just letting the world write the script for your mood for the entire day.
Precisely. You are surrendering your sovereignty. Those first 30 minutes are a biological and psychological window where you can prime your brain for the day. You need to boot up your own operating system before you connect to the internet.
Okay, that makes sense. So if I'm not scrolling, what am I doing? Am I just staring at the wall and contemplating my existence?
It's much simpler and more biological than that. It's about centering. Hydration is the very first step. You just gone 8 hours without water. Your brain is literally a little bit shriveled.
Dehydrated, yeah.
Drinking a big glass of water immediately is like putting oil in the engine.
Yeah.
It wakes up your digestive system, and helps clear that mental fog.
Okay, drink water, breathe. That I can do. And then there's this concept of setting an intention. Now, I'll be honest, my skepticism radar goes off a little bit here. It sounds a bit manifestation-y, like I'm supposed to sit in a lotus position and hum.
I get that. I do. But let's strip away the woo-woo and look at the neuroscience behind it.
Yeah.
We have a part of the brain called the reticular activating system, or RAS.
RAS.
It's essentially a filter. It's a bouncer for your brain. It decides what information from the millions of bits coming at you gets through to your conscious mind.
Okay, so like a bouncer for your brain.
Exactly like a bouncer.
Yeah.
It's why if you decide to buy a red car, suddenly you see red cars everywhere, right?
Yeah, all the time.
That's your RAS working.
Yeah.
You've told it red cars are important now.
Mm.
Setting an intention is simply programming the RAS for the day. If you say to yourself, today, my intention is to be kind, you are literally telling your RAS to look for opportunities for kindness.
So it's not magic, it's just priming your own perception.
It's purely cognitive framing. And the material suggests keeping it really simple. Not, I will conquer the world, but something like, today I will be calm. Or, today I will finish the English project.
Yeah.
You're giving the day a headline before the chaos starts. You are deciding to be the mountains, so when the wind blows, when someone cuts you off in traffic, you don't react as a leaf. You say, no, my theme today is calm, and you let it pass.
That is actually incredibly useful. It gives you a buffer between stimulus and response. Okay, so we've survived the morning, we are hydrated, intended, and unsnoozed, but now we have to actually do stuff. And this brings us to section 2, tactical productivity. And we have to talk about the heavy head.
The heavy head, yes.
Yeah.
It's that sensation of pressure behind the eyes. It's the feeling of having like 50 browser tabs open in your brain, and you can hear music playing, but you don't know which tab it's coming from.
Oh, I live there. That is my permanent residence. I need to call my mom, buy milk, email Bob, fix the wobbly chair, pay that tax bill. It's just a constant draining loop.
There is a name for this in psychology. It's called the Zeigarnik effect.
The Zeigarnik effect. Sounds like a sci-fi weapon.
It might as well be. It describes how our brains are wired to fixate on uncompleted tasks. If a task is unfinished, your brain keeps it in the active RAM, rehearsing it over and over so you don't forget. Buy milk, buy milk, buy milk. This consumes a massive amount of metabolic energy.
So we are literally burning brain fuel just holding on to the list.
And because your working memory is incredibly limited, there's something called Miller's Law that suggests we can only hold about 7 items plus or minus 2.
Right.
Once you pass that limit, you start dropping things. And this leads to anxiety. You feel heavy because you are carrying the cognitive load of everything you haven't done yet.
So the solution, obviously, is the to-do list. But not just any list. The research compares a list to a budget. I thought that was a really interesting pivot.
It's the perfect analogy. A financial budget is a plan for your money so you don't end up broke. A to-do list is a plan for your time so you don't end up insane. But the act of writing it down is the key. When you write a task on paper, you are exploiting the other side of that Zeigarnik effect. You are telling your brain it is recorded. You can let go now. It's safe.
The head feels light, like a bird. That was the phrase in the text. It's this offloading process.
It is, but, and there's a huge but, most people do lists completely wrong. They write what I call the kitchen sink list.
Guilty. 100% guilty. I write down everything. Clean the garage, write a novel, lose 20 pounds, learn Mandarin. I look at the list and I just want to crawl back into bed. It's terrifying.
That is the paradox of choice combined with the wall of awful. If you list 20 things, your brain sees a threat. It sees pain. So you procrastinate. You do nothing because the barrier to entry is just too high. The material suggests the rule of 3.
Only 3 things. That feels, I don't know, lazy. I have way more than 3 things to do today.
You might have more than 3 things to do, but you probably only have 3 things that matter. This forces prioritization. It forces you to look at that list of 20 items and ask the hard question. If I only get 3 done today, which ones will make the day a success?
It's like triage for your day. You're being the emergency room doctor for your own schedule.
Exactly. And when you limit it to 3, it becomes achievable. You cross them out, that zip, done feeling, and you get a hit of dopamine. That chemical reward reinforces the behavior. You feel competent. You feel like the boss.
I do love the zip, done.
Yeah.
There is a visceral satisfaction in physically crossing something out with a pen. Sometimes I write things down that I've already done just for the pleasure of crossing them out.
No, we all do that. It's a validation loop. You are proving to yourself in a small way that you have agency. You made something happen.
So we have the morning sorted and we have the list. But now we run into the biggest obstacle to actually completing that list. The enemy of the rule of three, other people, or rather, our inability to manage other people. This brings us to the economics of time and the hardest word in the English language.
No.
No.
No. This is where we move from organization to defense. The material identifies what it calls the nice person trap.
That is me. I am the nice person. I want to be helpful. If someone asks for a favor or invites me to a party I know will be boring or asks me to join some committee, I say yes. Because I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be the bad guy.
That instinct comes from a deep evolutionary place. We want to belong to the tribe. We don't want to be cast out. But in the modern world, it's fatal to your productivity and your well-being. The insight here is ruthless, but it's true. Saying yes to everyone else is saying no to yourself.
Oof, that hits hard. It completely reframes the whole interaction.
Think about it as simple economics. You have 24 hours in a day. That is a hard cap. You cannot mint more time. If you say yes to a 2-hour meeting that has no value to you, where do those 2 hours come from?
They have to come from somewhere.
They do. You have to steal them from your sleep or your gym time or your family or the deep work that would actually move your life forward.
It's an opportunity cost. I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul, but Peter is me.
Exactly. The text uses the currency analogy. Your time is like your money. Imagine if you just walked down the street handing out $20 bills to anyone who asked, "Hey, can I have 20 bucks?" Sure, you'd be bankrupt in an hour.
And people would think I was completely insane.
But we do this with our time every single day. We have what you might call time hostility towards ourselves. We treat our own time as if it's worthless, so we give it away to anyone who knocks on the door. The strategy is to start treating a request for your time with the same seriousness as a request for your money.
So when I say no to the boring party, I'm not being mean. I'm just being financially responsible with my time budget.
Yes, you are funding your priorities. If you want to learn English or get fit or write that book, you need currency, which is time to pay for it. Every no to a distraction is a deposit into your dream account.
It really, really helps to view it that way. It removes so much of the guilt.
And here's the secret. People respect boundaries. When you are the boss of your life and you're clear about your priorities, people adapt to you. When you are the leaf, people blow you wherever they want because they know you're movable.
I'm sorry, I can't make it. I have a prior commitment, and that prior commitment is to myself and my goals.
Perfect. That's all you have to say.
All right, let's pivot. We've got the mind right, the schedule right, the boundaries right, but there's a piece of hardware we haven't discussed, the machine itself, the body, the engine, as the source calls it.
You can have the best software in the world, the best to-do list, the best intentions, but if the hardware is overheating and the battery is dead, you aren't going anywhere.
The source material compares the body to a car. It's a classic analogy, but let's really dig into the specific fuel inputs. Because I think a lot of us are putting, sugar in the gas tank and then wondering why the car is stalling out.
It comes down to the glycemic index and basic energy management. The text mentions heavy, greasy food or sugary snacks like chips and cookies. We eat these things for a quick hit of energy, right? But what happens biologically?
The spike in the crash, the inevitable crash.
Yeah, exactly. You get a huge spike in your blood glucose. You feel great for about 20 minutes. Your brain feels sharp. Then your body, in a panic, floods with insulin to manage all that sugar, and your blood sugar just plummets. This is the afternoon slump. That brain fog, that need for a nap at 3 p.m., that's not just being tired. That is a biological crash.
So when I eat a bag of chips and collapse on the sofa, I'm not just being lazy. I'm chemically engineering my own lethargy.
You are. You are making it physically difficult to have willpower. Willpower is an exhaustible resource, and it is directly tied to stable glucose levels in the brain. If you feed your body good fuel, slow-burning carbs, vegetables, protein, lots of water, you are giving yourself a steady stream of power to execute your will throughout the day.
It's hard to be the boss when you're in a sugar coma.
It's impossible. And this links directly to the other major physiological pillar, sleep. The material talks about the circles.
The cycles. I identified with the bad circle so much it actually hurt to read it. Let's trace that doom loop.
It usually starts the night before. It starts with what they call revenge bedtime procrastination.
Revenge bedtime procrastination.
Yes, you feel like you had no control all day. You were a leaf, so you stay up late, scrolling your phone or watching TV to reclaim your time.
I deserve this time, so I watch Netflix until 1 a.m.
Right. So you go to sleep late. You wake up tired. Then you hit snooze, which creates sleep inertia. Now you're rushing, which spikes your cortisol. You're stressed, so you crave sugar and fat-bad fuel. You crash in the afternoon, so you drink coffee too late. Then you're wired and tired at night, so what do? You watch TV again to unwind.
It's a self-reinforcing downward spiral. It's the snake eating its own tail.
It is. And the expert analysis here, and this is so crucial, is that you cannot fix the morning without fixing the night before. You can't just try harder to wake up at 7 a.m. if you went to bed at 2 a.m. The good circle is systemic. You have to break the chain.
So if I want to win Tuesday morning, I have to start fighting that battle on Monday night.
You have to parent yourself. You have to be the boss who says, okay, team, time to turn off the TV. We have a big day tomorrow and we need to be rested.
Cluffs. Being the boss of yourself is sometimes just being a strict but loving parent to your own inner toddler.
That is exactly what it is, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, so we're fueling the car, we're driving it according to a map, and we're avoiding all the unnecessary detours. Now we get to the destination, or rather, the growth. The material talks about the future self and the concept of continuous learning, and this directly addresses the #1 excuse, I have no time.
The no time myth. It's the most common defense mechanism. I'd love to learn Spanish, or I'd love to learn coding, or I'd love to learn piano, but I'm just so busy.
And we feel busy. We aren't lying when we say that.
We aren't lying about the feeling, no. But we might be lying to ourselves about the priority. There's a principle called Parkinson's Law, which states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. If you give yourself all day to answer your emails, guess what? It will take all day.
So how do we break that cycle? How do we find the time?
The material suggests the power of 15 minutes. This is based on the concept of micro-learning. We tend to have this all-or-nothing thinking. If I can't sit down and study for a full hour, it's not worth doing.
Right. I need the perfect environment, a cup of tea, and total silence, which of course never happens.
So you do nothing. The 15-minute rule says, find the dead time in your day.
Dead time, waiting for the bus, waiting for the kettle to boil, the 5 minutes before a Zoom meeting starts.
Exactly. These are pockets of time that we usually fill with what I'd call entropy, mindlessly scrolling social media, staring into space. If you reclaim that dead time and use it for active input, listening to a language podcast, reading 5 pages of a book, learning 5 new vocabulary words, the compound effect is staggering.
15 minutes just seems so insignificant, though. Can you really learn a language in 15 minutes a day?
You can't learn it in one day, of course not. But do the math. 15 minutes a day is an hour and 45 minutes a week. Over a year, that is over 90 hours.
90 hours.
That is 2 full 40-hour work weeks of dedicated study. Imagine if you took 2 solid weeks off work and did nothing but study Spanish. You'd get pretty good, right?
Wow, when you aggregate it like that, it's huge. It's not insignificant at all.
That is the difference between the leaf and the pilot. The leaf wastes those 15 minutes just drifting around. The pilot uses them to make a tiny course correction. Over a year, those tiny corrections add up to a completely different destination. This is taking control of the future. You are actively building the person you want to become. If you don't do this, you will be exactly the same person next year as you are today. Just a year older and probably a little more burnt out.
That is a haunting thought. Stagnation is a choice we make in those little 15-minute pockets.
It is. A choice by default.
Now, before we wrap this all up, we have to talk about resilience, because we have laid out this, this perfect plan here. Wake up at dawn, drink water, list of 3, eat a perfect salad, study Spanish. But we are human. We are messy. I am going to eat a donut. I am going to hit snooze.
Yeah.
What happens then? Does the whole system collapse?
This is maybe the most important part. The mindset of resilience. The material is very, very forgiving on this point. It admits some days will be difficult. You will press the snooze button.
Oh, thank goodness.
The key is the recovery. The trap is what psychologists call the what the hell effect. Do you know this?
Is that a technical term?
It actually is. It's when you slip up just a little bit, say you eat 1 cookie when you're on a diet, and then you say, well, I blew my diet, what the hell? And then you eat the whole box.
Oh, I know that effect intimately. I already hit snooze, so the morning is ruined, so I might as well skip the gym and be grumpy all day.
That is the leaf mindset taking over again. The boss mindset, the pilot mindset says, okay, I slipped, correct course, immediately. No guilt. Guilt is heavy. Guilt takes up valuable RAM in your brain that you need for problem solving.
Tomorrow is a new day, or even the next hour is a new hour.
Exactly. You don't burn the whole wagon just because one wheel fell off. You fix a wheel and you keep moving. It's all about the trend line over time, not the individual data point of one bad morning.
I love that. It makes the whole thing feel sustainable and human, not robotic.
It has to be, or it won't work.
So let's bring this all together. We've covered a massive amount of ground here, from neuroscience to time economics. Let's do a quick-fire control checklist based on the material, just to lock it all in.
All right, let's summarize the operating system for being the boss of your life.
Yep.
Number 1, the morning. Defeat sleep inertia. Wake up on time. Hydrate to fix the biology. No phone for 30 minutes to protect the psychology. Set one simple intention.
Got it.
Number 2, the day. Manage the heavy head by offloading all your tasks to paper. Use the rule of 3 to avoid paralysis and create momentum. And enjoy this zip.
Yeah, done.
Number 3, boundaries. Treat your time like your money. Say no to protect your investment in yourself and your goals.
Okay.
Number 4, the body. Manage your glycemic index with good fuel to maintain stable energy. Respect the sleep cycles to avoid the doom loop. Fix the night to fix the morning.
And 5.
And number 5, growth. Use the 15-minute rule in your dead time to compound your knowledge and actively build your future self.
It really is a comprehensive life operating system. It's a series of small hinges that swing big doors.
It moves you from reactive to proactive. It gives you the wheel.
So here's the challenge for you, the listener. We want to echo the specific prompt from our source today. We don't want you to just nod along, feel smart for an hour, and then go right back to being a leaf.
Information without application is just entertainment. We're aiming for transformation.
Exactly. So the question is, what is one thing, just one that you will do today or maybe tomorrow morning to take control?
Will you put your phone in the other room tonight so you can't check it first thing?
Yeah.
Will you take 5 minutes right now to write your list of 3 for tomorrow? Will you finally say no to that thing you really, really don't want to do?
Pick one, just one, do it, and feel the shift. Even a tiny shift proves to you that you have the power.
It always starts with a single choice.
And I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. We've talked a lot today about not being a leaf in the wind. But let's extend that metaphor one step further. If you stop being the leaf, if you hoist your sails, grab the rudder, and actually take control of the ship, where do you actually want to go?
That's the ultimate question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Control is just the tool. The destination is the point. If you have the control, what is your destination?
A question for another deep dive, perhaps? Thanks so much for listening. Now go be the boss of your day.
See you next time.